And it's the same thing with being successful. What's going on with success? If you become a success and you've believed for 20 or 30 years that you can't be a success, well, guess what happens? Then you go, man, I just wasted 20 or 30 years of my life believing that. And that's very painful. So people avoid going for success just because of that. Let's take it to another level. What happens if you're a success and then you fail? Because that's possible, isn't it? You could get right up to the top and things could go wrong and you could fail. And then you go, see, I knew it. I knew I wasn't good enough. I knew I couldn't do this for long. And so people avoid that before they even get a chance. That's why they don't go for their dreams. They don't go for their goals. They don't go for anything that's big. They don't go for the relationships, the money, or anything because they're afraid. Well, when you get to that core belief system by asking yourself the real questions and then taking responsibility, which is the key. Responsibility for your greatness, for your magnificence, for your pricelessness, and stop taking responsibility for the negative stuff. Let that go and realize the truth of you right now is that you are wonderful, that you're incredible, that you're amazing. And start believing that and living that. That will lead you to do beautiful and amazing and incredible things, which will lead you to have a beautiful and incredible and amazing life.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
I think it's a good plan for everybody.
For everybody. You know, it's so true, too, that we, not wanting that validation. I know, the subconscious mind, which is the acting out part of us, is always, its prime directive is survival. And one of the mechanisms it uses, it's always moving us from pain to pleasure. And when we get that bad feeling, we'll do just about anything to shove that feeling back down. Eating and smoking, it's a perfect metaphor to literally just push those feelings down, because there's a part of us that knows as soon as that thought or that feeling comes up, right behind it is that thought. That core belief that I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm unlovable. And it doesn't feel good, so we just kind of keep trying to push it down and doing what's familiar, even if what's familiar isn't getting us to where we want to go.
Or even deeper than that. What else? It could be sabotaging us, it could be hurting us, it could be killing us. Overeating until we're so heavy, we have diabetes or other medical conditions, or smoking, whatever it is we're doing. We will kill ourselves to survive. We will kill ourselves to survive. That's the point. So when you know people are smoking 2 and 3 packs a day, none of that is conscious. They are not consciously putting a cigarette in their mouth. They are not. It's something unconscious because they know smoking kills them. And knowing that doesn't change anything, because it's not what you know about your life that runs it, it's what you don't know. And you can't change what you don't know. So you've got to get to the core, and how you get to the core is first make a decision that you're going to do it. Because if you're not making a decision that you're going to do it, it's not going to matter anyway. Right. Commit to the process. And this is the thing about commitment. It's 100% or nothing. The best definition I've ever heard of commitment came from a 5th grader. I am not joking. I'll never forget it as long as I live, and I teach it to everybody. He said a commitment is a promise you make to yourself or someone else that you don't back out of no matter what. No matter what. I mean, obviously, if your life's in danger, that's one thing. Right. But in a general sense, well, I'm going to call 20 people today for my business, and you call 10. Well, your life wasn't in danger. Then no, you call those 20 people. Right. See, people think commitment, they can slack on it a little bit, but they can't. And here's why they can't. If you're sitting down now watching this, be 95% committed to getting out of your chair. Well, you're never going to get out of your chair, are you? Why aren't you going to get out of your chair? Because in reality, if you're 95% committed to getting out of your chair, it means you're 100% committed to sitting. And that's the point. The math doesn't go 95-5. Commitment is an all or nothing thing. So if you commit to yourself, if you commit to asking yourself the questions and taking yourself deeper, and sometimes you can't, actually not sometimes, if it's real deep, you can't find the answer on your own. You need somebody else to help you, because they'll see things you can't see, they'll hear things you can't hear, and they'll be able to give you feedback. Words and phrases that normally just go right through your consciousness and you don't think anything of it, they'll go, wait a minute, what did you just say there? And they'll be able to help you unravel. So that's how you get to those core beliefs. And when you deal with those beliefs and you deal with them at their core, the problems don't come back anymore. And here's the other key. When you change your own mind about who you are, when you change your own mind about what you want, when you change your own mind about your future, your change is permanent. That's the gift. When you change your mind, you did it, and you don't ever have to go back. That's the gift you give yourself for the rest of your life.
And you're right about the commitment. You have to make a commitment to this. You know, a lot of times I hear clients say, well, okay, this sounds really good. I'm going to try. And that's like the 95% commitment. You know, what did Yoda say? Do or do not. There is no try. What you're actually telling yourself, if you're not making that commitment and you're willing to try, you're telling your subconscious mind that you're going to make an attempt and fail.
Yes.
And guess what? That's exactly the outcome you're going to get. More evidence that it doesn't work and I'm unworthy. So what can people do about this?
The best thing that I can answer to how people can deal with that is watch their language. Qualifiers. Most people say, I'll try, I'd like to, I'd really love to, I need to. There are many things you've needed to do or have to do or things you must do and you still don't do it. So when you say try, of course, it implies failure and it's the cover-up. In other words, not only does it attract failure, but it subconsciously says to you, you know what? I didn't do all I could have done, so I expected to fail, but that's okay because I didn't do all I could. So if you put all you can into it and you fail, that's what really stinks. That's what people are avoiding. That's why they don't go for it. So watch your language. Listen to the negativity. Listen to the things you say that are not empowering. And here's a magical question that I ask people all the time. And that question is what I'm thinking, is what I'm doing right now bringing me closer to or taking me further away from what I say I want? Is what I'm doing, is what I'm thinking right now bringing me closer to or taking me further away from what I want? And the fact is, if it's bringing you closer to, obviously keep doing it. But if it's taking you further away, there's a stop point and you can say, okay, wait a minute, why am I doing this? Then there's the first level of answers that'll come, well, I'm scared, or well, I'm this. Then don't stop there. Say, okay, Ray, here's another magical question. What's the worst thing that'll happen to me if I do this? And people may say, I'll fail. Well, and they say, well, that's not big enough. I mean, so what? So I failed. Well, it is. That is the big thing for you because that's what's been stopping you all along. So keep asking yourself those questions. In my book, I talk about a congruency finder. I have a chart. One side is what you want. The other side is your excuses. So you list on one side all the things you want, and then you list on the other side all of your excuses about why you can't have that. Now, you can have your excuses, you can have all the justifications, you can have all the reasons and all the knowledge about why you can't have your life, why you can't have your happiness, why you can't achieve your dreams. Or you can have your life, your happiness, and your dreams, but you can't have both. And many times people think they can have their excuses and still have their life, and you can't do that. So write down what you want, write down all the excuses about why you can't have it, and then start asking, does this really make sense? Does this belief bring me closer to or take me further away? Is this something really negative? Is it really going to happen if I do this? When your answer is no, then what? What can you do? You can do something positive. And you can say, okay, if nothing negative is going to happen, let me take the first step. And when you take that first step and you find out, you know what, your survival wasn't threatened, you're still here. Actually, I misspoke. Folks, I want you to hear this clearly. Your survival will be threatened. In fact, your survival has to go away so that you can live. I want you to hear that clearly. Your survival is going to fight. Another word for survival is your ego. Another word for ego, identity. Another word for identity, maybe personality. It's going to fight. Its job is to keep you safe. It wants to protect you. You know what? You're an adult now. It's okay. You don't need its protection. You can say, I got it. Thanks. You were doing your job. I can handle it from here. And you can tell your ego that, and you can put yourself in charge of your own life in the moment you decide to do that. And the ego does not have to win anymore. Survival will not be what's running your life anymore. Living will.